please make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notified about our future videos. To the questions. Question 1. A financial services company needs to aggregate daily stock trade data from the exchanges into a data store. The company requires that data be streamed directly into the data store, but also occasionally allows data to be modified using SQL. The solution should integrate complex analytic queries running with minimal latency. The solution must provide a business intelligence dashboard that enables viewing of the top contributors to anomalies in stock prices. Which solution meets the company's requirements? The correct answer is C. Use Amazon Kinesis data firehouse to stream data to Amazon Redshift. Use Amazon Redshift as a data source for Amazon QuickSight to create a business intelligence dashboard. Amazon Redshift is a data warehouse that provides fast query performance and can handle complex analytical queries. Amazon Kinesis data firehouse can be used to stream data from different sources, including stock exchanges, into Amazon Redshift with low latency. Redshift also supports SQL, which allows for modifying data using SQL. Finally, Amazon QuickSight can be used to create a business intelligence dashboard that displays the top contributors to anomalies in stock prices. Question 2. A financial company hosts a data lake in Amazon S3 and a data warehouse on an Amazon Redshift cluster. The company uses Amazon QuickSight to build dashboards and wants to secure access from its on-premises Active Directory to Amazon QuickSight. How should the data be secured? The correct option is A. Use an Active Directory connector and single sign-on in a corporate network environment. A is the correct solution to secure access from an on-premises Active Directory to Amazon QuickSight. This solution allows the users to log in with their existing corporate credentials and enables IT administrators to manage access to Amazon QuickSight using their on-premises Active Directory. Amazon QuickSight supports various authentication methods including SSO, OpenID Connect, and SML 2.0, making it easy to integrate with existing authentication solutions. Question 3. A real estate company has a mission-critical application using Apache HBase in Amazon EMR. Amazon EMR is configured with a single master node. The company has over 5 TB of data stored on an Hadoop distributed file system. The company wants a cost-effective solution to make its HBase data highly available. Which architectural pattern meets company's requirements? The correct answer is option D. Store data on an EMR file system instead of HDFS and enable EMRFS consistent view. Create a primary EMR HBase cluster with multiple master nodes. Create a secondary EMR HBase read replica cluster in a separate availability zone. Point both clusters to the same HBase root directory in the same Amazon S3 bucket. D is correct. As Amazon EMR version 5.7.0 or later, you can set up a read replica cluster which allows you to maintain read-only copies of data in Amazon S3. In the event that the primary cluster becomes unavailable, you can access the data from the read replica cluster to perform read operations simultaneously. Question 4. A software company hosts an application on AWS and new features are released weekly. As part of the application testing process, a solution must be developed that analyzes logs from each Amazon EC2 instance to ensure that the application is working as expected after each deployment. The collection and analysis solution should be highly available with the ability to display new information with minimal delays. Which method should the company use to collect and analyze the logs? The correct option is D. Use Amazon CloudWatch subscriptions to get access to a real-time feed of logs and have the logs delivered to Amazon Kinesis data streams to further push the data to Amazon OpenSearch service and OpenSearch dashboards. D is correct. CloudWatch subscription is real-time. push logs to Kinesis Firehouse or streams, which can push into Elasticsearch for aggregation and dashboard. Question 5. A data analyst is using AWS Glue to organize, cleanse, validate, and format a 200 GB dataset. The data analyst triggered the job to run with the standard worker type. After 3 hours, the AWS Glue job status is still running. Logs from the job run show no error codes. The data analyst wants to improve the job execution time without over-provisioning. Which actions should the data analyst take? The correct option here is B. Enable job metrics in AWS Glue to estimate the number of data processing units. Based on the profile metrics, increase the value of the maximum capacity job parameter. The data analyst should enable job metrics in AWS Glue to estimate the number of data processing units and profile the job to understand its resource requirements. Based on the profile metrics, the data analyst should increase the value of the maximum capacity job parameter. This parameter controls the maximum number of DPUs that the job can use. By increasing the maximum capacity, the job can use more resources and complete faster without over-provisioning. Question 6. A company has a business unit uploading .csv files to an Amazon S3 bucket. The company's data platform team has set up an AWS Glue crawler to do discovery and create tables and schemas. An AWS Glue job writes process data from the created tables to an Amazon Redshift database. The AWS Glue job handles column mapping and creating the Amazon Redshift table appropriately. When the AWS Glue job is rerun for any reason in a day, duplicate records are introduced into the Amazon Redshift table. Which solution will update the Redshift table without duplicates when jobs are rerun? The correct option here is A. Modify the AWS Glue job to copy the rows into a staging table. Add SQL commands to replace the existing rows in the main table as post actions in the dynamic frame writer class. Question 7. A streaming application is reading data from Amazon Kinesis data streams and immediately writing the data to an Amazon S3 bucket every 10 seconds. The application is reading data from hundreds of shards. The batch interval cannot be changed due to a separate requirement. The data is being accessed by Amazon Athena. Users are seeing degradation in query performance as time progresses. Which action can help improve query performance? Our options are A. Merge the files in Amazon S3 to form larger files. B. Increase the number of shards in Kinesis data streams. C. Add more memory and CPU capacity to the streaming application. Or D. Write the files to multiple S3 buckets. The correct option here is A. Merge the files in Amazon S3 to form larger files. To improve query performance when using Amazon Athena to access data from an Amazon S3 bucket, the streaming application should merge the files in S3 to form larger files. When the streaming application writes data to S3 every 10 seconds, it creates small files, which can lead to a large number of small files over time. This can lead to performance degradation in Athena queries, as more small files mean more metadata needs to be scanned and more file operations are required to read data. By merging small files into larger files, the number of files in the bucket can be reduced, which can significantly improve Athena query performance. Question 8. A company uses Amazon OpenSearch service to store and analyze its website clickstream data. The company ingests 1 TB of data daily using Amazon Kinesis Data Firehouse and stores 1 day's worth of data in an Amazon ES cluster. The company has very slow query performance on the Amazon ES index and occasionally sees errors from Kinesis Data Firehouse when attempting to write to the index. The Amazon ES cluster has 10 nodes running a single index and 3 dedicated master nodes. Each data node has 1.5 TB of Amazon EBS storage attached, and the cluster is configured with 1000 shards. Occasionally, JVM memory pressure errors are found in the cluster logs. Which solution will improve the performance of Amazon ES? Our options are A. Increase the memory of the Amazon ES master nodes. B. Decrease the number of Amazon ES data nodes. C. Decrease the number of Amazon ES shards for the index. Or D. increase the number of Amazon ES shards for the index? The correct option here is C. Decrease the number of Amazon ES shards for the index. Memory pressure in the JVM can result if you have unbalanced shard allocations across nodes or you have too many shards in a cluster. So, fewer shards can yield better performance. If JVM memory pressure errors are encountered, deleting old or unused indices also helps. Question 9. A manufacturing company has been collecting IoT sensor data from devices on its factory floor for a year and is storing the data in Amazon Redshift for daily analysis. A data analyst has determined that at an expected ingestion rate of about 2 TB per day, the cluster will be undersized in less than 4 months. A long-term solution is needed. The data analyst has indicated that most queries only reference the most recent 13 months of data. Yet there are also quarterly reports that need to query all the data generated from the past 7 years. The Chief Technology Officer is concerned about the costs, administrative effort, and performance of a long-term solution. Which solution should the data analyst use to meet these requirements? The correct option here is A. Create a daily job in AWS Glue to unload records older than 13 months to Amazon S3 and delete those records from Amazon Redshift. Create an external table in Amazon Redshift to point to the S3 location. Use Amazon Redshift Spectrum to join to data that is older than 13 months. Correct answer is A, as the AWS Glue job can be used to offload the data older than 13 months from Redshift to S3. 13 months data can be queried from Redshift, while 7 years data in S3 can be queried using Redshift Spectrum. Question 10. An insurance company has raw data in JSON format that is sent without a predefined schedule through an Amazon Kinesis data firehouse delivery system to an Amazon S3 bucket. An AWS Glue crawler is scheduled to run every 8 hours to update the schema in the data catalog of the tables stored in the S3 bucket. Data analysts analyze the data using Apache Spark SQL on Amazon EMR set up with the AWS Glue data catalog as the metastore. Data analysts say that occasionally the data they receive is stale. A data engineer needs to provide access to the most up-to-date data. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct option is D. Run the AWS Glue crawler from an AWS Lambda function triggered by an S3 column object created column asterisk event notification on the S3 bucket. Data analysts analyze the data using Apache Spark SQL on Amazon EMR for the data stored on S3 in JSON format. Input JSON file landing in S3 triggers a lambda which invokes Glue crawler. Correct answer is D, as it is event driven and would load the data as soon as the object created event is triggered. Question 11. A company that produces network devices has millions of users. Data is collected from the devices on an hourly basis and stored in an Amazon S3 lake. The company runs analysis on the last 24 hours of data flow logs for abnormality detection and to troubleshoot and resolve user issues. The company also analyzes historical logs dating back 2 years to discover patterns and look for improvement opportunities. The data flow logs contain many metrics such as date, timestamp, source IP, and target IP. There are about 10 billion events every day. How should this data be stored for optimal performance? Our options are A. In Apache ORC partitioned by date and sorted by source IP. B. In compressed.csv partitioned by date and sorted by source IP. C. In Apache Parquet partitioned by source IP and sorted by date. Or D. In compressed nested JSON partitioned by source IP and sorted by date. The correct option is A. In Apache ORC partitioned by date and sorted by source IP. A is the right answer as the company does daily analysis, so it only needs to look at the data generated for a given date. Question 12. A banking company is currently using an Amazon Redshift cluster with dense storage nodes to store sensitive data. An audit found that the cluster is unencrypted. Compliance requirements state that a database with sensitive data must be encrypted through a hardware security module with automated key rotation. Which combination of steps is required to achieve compliance? Choose 2. The correct options are A and C, that is, set up a trusted connection with HSM using a client and server certificate with automatic key rotation, and create a new HSM encrypted Amazon Redshift cluster and migrate the data to the new cluster. Correct answer is A and C, as Redshift does not allow encrypting existing cluster using HSM, and there needs to be trust connection established between Redshift and HSM. Question 13. A company is planning to do a proof of a concept for a machine learning project using Amazon SageMaker with a subset of existing on-premises data hosted in the company's 3 TB data warehouse. For part of the project, AWS Direct Connect is established and tested. To prepare the data for ML, data analysts are performing data curation. The data analysts want to perform multiple steps including mapping, dropping null fields, resolving choice, and splitting fields. The company needs the fastest solution to curate the data for this project. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct option is C. Ingest data into Amazon S3 using AWS DMS, using AWS Glue to perform the data curation and store the data in Amazon S3 for ML processing. Correct answer is C, as DMS can be used for data migration to S3. AWS Glue can be used for pre-processing and data curation. Question 14. A US-based sneaker retail company launched its global website. All the transaction data is stored in Amazon RDS, and curated historic transaction data is stored in Amazon Redshift. In the US East 1 region, the business intelligence team wants to enhance the user experience by providing a dashboard for sneaker trends. The BI team decides to use Amazon QuickSight to render the website dashboards. During development, a team in Japan provisioned Amazon QuickSight in AP Northeast 1. The team is having difficulty connecting Amazon QuickSight from AP Northeast 1 to Amazon Redshift in US East 1. Which solution will solve this issue and meet the requirements? The correct option here is D. Create a new security group for Amazon Redshift in US East 1 with an inbound rule authorizing access from the appropriate IP address range for the Amazon QuickSight servers in AP Northeast 1. Question 15. An airline has .csv formatted data stored in Amazon S3 with an AWS Glue data catalog. Data analysts want to join this data with call center data stored in Amazon Redshift as part of a daily batch process. The Amazon Redshift cluster is already under a heavy load. This solution must be managed serverless, well functioning, and minimize the load on the existing Amazon Redshift cluster. The solution should also require minimal effort and development activity. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct answer is C. Create an external table using Amazon Redshift Spectrum for the call center data and perform the join with Amazon Redshift. Question 16. A data analyst is using Amazon QuickSight for data visualization across multiple datasets generated by applications. Each application stores files within a separate Amazon S3 bucket. AWS Glue Data Catalog is used as a central catalog across all application data in Amazon S3. A new application stores its data within a separate S3 bucket. After updating the catalog to include the new application data source, the data analyst created a new Amazon QuickSight data source from an Amazon Athena table. But the import into Spice failed. How should the data analyst resolve this issue? The correct option here is B. Edit the permissions for the new S3 bucket from within the Amazon QuickSight console. Question 17. A team of data scientists plan to analyze market trend data for their company's new investment strategy. The trend data comes from 5 different data sources in large volumes. The team wants to utilize Amazon Kinesis to support their user case. The team uses SQL-like queries to analyze trends and wants to send notifications based on certain significant patterns in the trends. Additionally, the data scientists want to save the data to Amazon S3 for archival and historical reprocessing, and use AWS managed services wherever possible. The team wants to implement the lowest cost solution. Which solution meets these requirements? The most appropriate option here is B. Publish data to one Kinesis data stream. Deploy Kinesis Data Analytic to the stream for analyzing trends, and configure an AWS Lambda function as an output to send notifications using Amazon SNS. Configure Kinesis Data Firehouse on the Kinesis data stream to persist data to an S3 bucket. Correct answer is B, as a single Kinesis data stream can be configured for data ingestion. The stream can be consumed by Kinesis Data Firehouse to store the data in S3 for archival. The stream can also be consumed by Kinesis Data Analytics for analysis and use Lambda and SNS for notifications. Question 18. A company currently uses Amazon Athena to query its global datasets. The regional data is stored in Amazon S3 in the US East 1 and US West 2 regions. The data is not encrypted. To simplify the query process and manage it centrally, the company wants to use Athena in US West 2 to query data from Amazon S3 in both regions. The solution should be as low cost as possible. What should the company do to achieve the goal? The most appropriate option here is B. Run the AWS Glue crawler in US West 2 to catalog datasets in all regions. Once the data is crawled, run Athena queries in US West 2. B is correct, as AWS Glue can crawl data in different AWS regions. When you define an Amazon S3 data store to crawl, you can choose whether to crawl a path in your account or another account. The output of the crawler is one or more metadata tables defined in the AWS Glue data catalog. A table is created for one or more files found in your data store. If all the Amazon S3 files in a folder have the same schema, the crawler creates one table. Also, if the Amazon S3 object is partitioned, only one metadata table is created. Question 19. A large company receives files from external parties in Amazon EC2 throughout the day. At the end of the day, the files are combined into a single file, compressed into a gzip file, and uploaded to Amazon S3. The total size of all the files is close to 100 GB daily. Once the files are uploaded to Amazon S3, an AWS batch program executes a copy command to load the files into an Amazon Redshift cluster. Which program modification will accelerate the copy process? The correct option here is B. Split the number of files so they are equal to a multiple of the number of slices in the Amazon Redshift cluster. Gzip and upload the files to Amazon S3. Run the copy command on the files. Question 20. A large ride-sharing company has thousands of drivers globally, serving millions of unique customers every day. The company has decided to migrate an existing data mart to Amazon Redshift. The existing schema includes the following tables: a trips fact table for information on completed rides, a driver's dimension table for driver profiles, a customer's fact table holding customer profile information. The company analyzes trip details by date and destination to examine profitability by region. The driver's data rarely changes. The customer's data frequently changes. What table design provides optimal query performance? The correct option is C. Use gist style key for the trips table and sort by date. Use gist style all for the drivers table. Use gist style even for the customers table. Correct answer is C, as the trip would be queries on destination and date. The trips table need a gist style key for the trips table and sort by date. As the driver's data rarely changes, gist style all can be applied for the drivers table, which will maintain a copy per node. Use all distribution for rarely changing tables as they are copied to all slices. Use even distribution to frequently changing and large tables as Redshift engine can randomly distribute them to different data slices. Use gist style key for the tables where you know a join key. Question 21. A company is planning to create a data lake in Amazon S3. The company wants to create tiered storage based on access patterns and cost objectives. The solution must include support for JDBC connections from legacy clients, metadata management that allows federation for access control, and batch-based ETL using PySpark and Scala. Operational management should be limited. Which combination of components can meet these requirements? Choose 3. The correct options are A, C, and E. That is AWS Glue Data Catalog for metadata management, AWS Glue for Scala-based ETL, and Amazon Athena for querying data in Amazon S3 using JDBC drivers. Correct answers are A, C, and E. Option A, as Glue Data Catalog, provides metadata management with the federation for access control. Option C, as AWS Glue, supports both serverless PySpark and Scala-based ETL with the least operational overhead. Option E, as Athena can be used for querying S3 data. Athena can be connected using JDBC drivers from the external legacy clients. Question 22. 3 teams of data analysts use Apache Hive on an Amazon EMR cluster with the EMR file system to query data stored within each team's Amazon S3 bucket. The EMR cluster has Kerberos enabled and is configured to authenticate users from the corporate Active Directory. The data is highly sensitive, so access must be limited to the members of each team. Which steps will satisfy the security requirements? The correct option is B. For the EMR cluster Amazon EC2 instances, create a service role that grants no access to Amazon S3. Create 3 additional IAM roles, each granting access to each team's specific bucket. Add the service role for the EMR cluster EC2 instances to the trust policies for the additional IAM roles. Create a security configuration mapping for the additional IAM roles to Active Directory user groups for each team. Correct answer is B, as the EMR service role should be provided with no access and the mapping defined for security configuration for using IAM roles mapped to groups. Question 23. A company wants to optimize the cost of its data and analytics platform. The company is ingesting a number of .csv and JSON files in Amazon S3 from various data sources. Incoming data is expected to be 50 GB each day. The company is using Amazon Athena to query the raw data in Amazon S3 directly. Most queries aggregate data from the past 12 months, and data that is older than 5 years is infrequently queried. The typical query scans about 500 MB of data and is expected to return results in less than 1 minute. The raw data must be retained indefinitely for compliance requirements. Which solution meets the company's requirements? The correct option here is A. Use an AWS Glue ETL job to compress, partition, and convert the data into a columnar data format. Use Athena to query the processed dataset. Configure a lifecycle policy to move the processed data into the Amazon S3 standard infrequent access storage class 5 years after object creation. Configure a second lifecycle policy to move the raw data into Amazon S3 Glacier for long-term archival 7 days after object creation. Correct answer is A, as columnar data format store data efficiently by employing column-wise compression and enables split and parallel processing. Storing processed data in S3 in SAIA and moving raw data in Glacier would help reduce costs. Question 24. An energy company collects voltage data in real time from sensors that are attached to the buildings. The company wants to receive notifications when a sequence of 2 voltage drops is detected within 10 minutes of a sudden voltage increase at the same building. All notifications must be delivered as quickly as possible. The system must be highly available. The company needs a solution that will automatically scale when this monitoring feature is implemented in other cities. This notification system is subscribed to an Amazon Simple Notification Service topic for remediation. Which solution will meet these requirements? The correct answer is D. create an Amazon Kinesis data stream to capture the incoming sensor data, create another stream for notifications, set up AWS application autoscaling on both streams, create an Amazon Kinesis data analytics for Java application to detect the known event sequence, and add a message to the message stream. Configure an AWS Lambda function to poll the message stream and publish to the SNS topic. AWS application autoscaling is available for Kinesis data streams. Data analytics can be developed with Scala, Java, SQL plus analysis, or logics to be applied based on time windows point to using data analytics. Question 25. A media company has a streaming playback application. The company needs to collect and analyze data to provide near real-time feedback on playback issues within 30 seconds. The company requires the consumer application to identify playback issues such as decreased quality during a specified time frame. The data will be streamed in JSON format. The schema can change over time. Which solution will meet these requirements? The correct option is D. Send the data to Amazon Kinesis data streams. Configure an Amazon Kinesis data analytics for Apache Flink application as the consumer application to process and analyze the data. Question 26. An e-commerce company stores customer purchase data in Amazon RDS. The company wants a solution to store and analyze historical data. The most recent 6 months of data will be queried frequently for analytics workloads. This data is several terabytes large. Once a month, historical data for the last 5 years must be accessible and will be joined with the more recent data. The company wants to optimize performance and cost. Which storage solution will meet these requirements? The most appropriate answer here is D. Incrementally copy data from Amazon RDS to Amazon S3, load and store the most recent 6 months of data in Amazon Redshift, configure an Amazon Redshift Spectrum table to connect to all historical data. D is the right answer, as loading and querying recent 6 months of data via Redshift gives better performance and old data can be queried via Redshift Spectrum. Question 27. A company leverages Amazon Athena for ADHOC queries against data stored in Amazon S3. The company wants to implement additional controls to separate query execution and query history among users, teams, or applications running in the same AWS account to comply with internal security policies. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct option is B. Create an Athena workgroup for each given use case, apply tags to the workgroup, and create an IAM policy using the tags to apply appropriate permissions to the workgroup. The solution that meets the requirements to separate query execution and query history among users, teams, or applications running in the same AWS account is to create an Athena workgroup for each given use case, apply tags to the workgroups, and create an IAM policy using the tags to apply appropriate permissions to the workgroup. This allows the company to control access to specific workgroups and apply different permissions to different workgroups. Option B is therefore the correct answer. Question 28. A company wants to use an automatic machine learning random cut forest algorithm to visualize complex real-world scenarios such as detecting seasonality and trends, excluding outliers, and imputing missing values. The team working on this project is non-technical and is looking for an out-of-the-box solution that will require the least amount of management overhead. Which solution will meet these requirements? The correct option is B. Use Amazon QuickSight to visualize the data and then use ML-powered forecasting to forecast the key business metrics. Amazon QuickSight enables non-technical users to confidently forecast their key business metrics. The built-in ML random cut forest algorithm automatically handles complex real-world scenarios such as detecting seasonality and trends, excluding outliers, and imputing missing values. You can interact with the data with point-and-click simplicity. Question 29. A retail company's data analytics team recently created multiple product sales analysis dashboards for the average selling price per product using Amazon QuickSight. The dashboards were created from .csv files uploaded to Amazon S3. The team is now planning to share the dashboards with the respective external product owners by creating individual users in Amazon QuickSight. For compliance and governance reasons, restricting access is a key requirement. The product owners should view only their respective product analysis in the dashboard reports. Which approach should the data analytics team take to allow product owners to view only their products in the dashboard? Our options are A. Separate the data by product and use S3 bucket policies for authorization. B. Separate the data by product and use IAM policies for authorization. C. Create a manifest file with row level security. Or D. Create dataset rules with row level security. The correct option is D. Create dataset rules with row level security. D would be the best approach for this use case. Row level security allows you to define filters at the row level, which can be used to control access to specific data based on the user attributes or permissions. This would enable the data analytics team to ensure that each product owner can only see the data for their respective products, as the filters would be applied to the dashboard data before it is displayed to the user. Question 30. A company has developed an Apache Hive script to batch process data stored in Amazon S3. The script needs to run once every day and store the output in Amazon S3. The company tested the script and it completes within 30 minutes on a small local 3-node cluster. Which solution is the most cost effective for scheduling and executing the script? The correct option is A. Create an AWS Lambda function to spin up an Amazon EMR cluster with a Hive execution step. Set keep job flow alive when no steps to false and disable the termination protection flag. Use Amazon Cloud Watch events to schedule the Lambda function to run daily. Correct answer is A, as the EMR cluster can be used to execute the Hive scripts. Keep job flow alive when no steps set to false and disabling the termination protection flag would help destroy the cluster once no running jobs. CloudWatch events with Lambda can be used to trigger the scheduled activity. Question 31. A company wants to improve the data load time of a sales data dashboard. Data has been collected as .csv files and stored within an Amazon S3 bucket that is partitioned by date. The data is then loaded to an Amazon Redshift data warehouse for frequent analysis. The data volume is up to 500 GB per day. Which solution will improve the data loading performance? The correct option is B. Split large .csv files and then use a copy command to load data into Amazon Redshift. Option B is the most appropriate solution for improving data loading performance. Splitting large .csv files and using a copy command can parallelize the load process and reduce the data load time. The data partitioning by date can help further optimize the load process by reducing the data scanned for each load. Compressing the .csv files may help reduce the storage cost, but it may not improve the data load time. Using an insert statement to ingest data into Amazon Redshift can be slow and does not take advantage of Redshift's parallel processing capability. Amazon Kinesis data warehouse can be used to ingest streaming data in real time, but may not be the best choice for large batch loads. Loading the .csv files in an unsorted key order and vacuuming the table can help optimize the table for query performance, but may not improve the data loading performance. Correct answer is B, as splitting the large file into multiple files can help improve the data loading performance using the copy command. Question 32. A company has a data warehouse in Amazon Redshift that is approximately 500 TB in size. New data is imported every few hours and read-only queries are run throughout the day and evening. There is a particularly heavy load with no writes for several hours each morning on business days. During those hours, some queries are queued and take a long time to execute. The company needs to optimize every execution and avoid any downtime. What is the most cost-effective solution? The correct option is A. Enable concurrency scaling in the workload management queue. Enabling concurrency scaling in the workload management queue allows Amazon Redshift to add more cluster capacity to handle the increased query load during peak hours. This is done automatically and can be configured based on the number of users or the number of queries. Concurrency scaling can be turned off during off-peak hours to save costs. This is a more cost-effective solution compared to adding more nodes or using elastic resize, which can be more expensive and take longer to configure. Snapshot, restore, and resize operations can also be time-consuming and may result in downtime. Question 33. A company analyzes its data in an Amazon Redshift data warehouse, which currently has a cluster of 3 dense storage nodes. Due to a recent business acquisition, the company needs to load an additional 4 TB of user data into Amazon Redshift. The engineering team will combine all these data and apply complex calculations that require input/output intensive resources. The company needs to adjust the cluster's capacity to support the change in analytical and storage requirements. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct option is A. Resize the cluster using elastic resize with dense compute nodes. Question 34. A company stores its sales and marketing data that includes personally identifiable information in Amazon S3. The company allows its analysts to launch their own Amazon EMR cluster and run analytics reports with the data. To meet compliance requirements, the company must ensure the data is not publicly accessible throughout this process. A data engineer has secured Amazon S3 but must ensure the individual EMR clusters created by the analysts are not exposed to the public internet. Which solution should the data engineer take to meet this compliance requirement with least amount of effort? The correct option is C. Enable the block public access setting from Amazon EMR at the account level before any EMR cluster is created. Correct answer is C, as the EMR clusters can be configured with the block public access setting, which is applied to all regions within an account. Amazon EMR block public access prevents a cluster in a public subnet from launching when any security group associated with the cluster has a rule that allows inbound traffic from IPv4 0.0.0.0/0 or IPv6 /0 on a port, unless the port has been specified as an exception. Port 22 is an exception by default. You can configure exceptions to allow public access on a port or range of ports. Block public access does not take effect in private subnets. Question 35. A financial company uses Amazon S3 as its data lake and has set up a data warehouse using a multi-node Amazon Redshift cluster. The data files in the data lake are organized in folders based on the data sources of each data file. All the data files are loaded to one table in the Amazon Redshift cluster using a separate copy command for each data file location. With this approach, loading all the data files into Amazon Redshift takes a long time to complete. Users want a faster solution with little or no increase in cost while maintaining the segregation of the data files in the S3 data lake. Which solution meets these requirements? The correct option is D. Create a manifest file that contains the data file locations and issue a copy command to load the data into Amazon Redshift. Correct answer is D, as a manifest file can be used to load the data. Also, it is recommended to have a single copy command instead of multiple concurrent copy commands for performance. Use the copy command to load a table in parallel from data files on Amazon S3. You can specify the files to be loaded by using an Amazon S3 object prefix or by using a manifest file. Amazon Redshift can automatically load in parallel from multiple compressed data files. However, if you use multiple concurrent copy commands to load one table from multiple files, Amazon Redshift is forced to perform a serialized load. This type of load is much slower and requires a vacuum process at the end if the table has a sort column defined. Options A, B, and C are wrong as they add unnecessary work and cost. You can use a single copy command with manifest file containing different S3 locations. This will speed up the copy process. Question 36. A company's marketing team has asked for help in identifying a high-performing long-term storage service for the data based on the following requirements. The data size is approximately 32 TB uncompressed. There is a low volume of single-row inserts each day. There is a high volume of aggregation queries each day. Multiple complex joins are performed. The queries typically involve a small subset of the columns in a table. Which storage service will provide the most performant solution? Our options are A. Amazon Aurora MySQL, B. Amazon Redshift, C. Amazon Neptune, or D. Amazon Elasticsearch. The correct option is B. Amazon Redshift. Correct answer is B, as Redshift, as it can be used for OLAP processing and meets all the requirements. Amazon Redshift uses SQL to analyze structured and semi-structured data across data warehouses, operational databases, and data lakes using AWS designed hardware and machine learning to deliver the best price performance at any scale. Question 37. A technology company is creating a dashboard that will visualize and analyze time-sensitive data. The data will come in through Amazon Kinesis data warehouse with the butter interval set to 60 seconds. The dashboard must support near real-time data. Which visualization solution will meet these requirements? The correct option here is A. Select Amazon OpenSearch service as the endpoint for Kinesis data warehouse. Set up an OpenSearch dashboards using the data in Amazon OpenSearch service with the desired analysis and visualizations. Correct answer is A, as Kinesis data warehouse can ingest data to Elasticsearch, and with Kibana it can provide near real-time visualizations. Question 38. A financial company uses Apache Hive on Amazon EMR for ADHOC queries. Users are complaining of sluggish performance. A data analyst notes the following. Approximately 90% of queries are submitted 1 hour after the market opens. Hadoop distributed file systems utilization never exceeds 10%. Which solution will help address the performance issue? The correct option here is D. Create instance group configurations for core and task nodes. Create an automatic scaling policy to scale out the instance groups based on the Amazon CloudWatch yarn memory available percentage metric. Create an automatic scaling policy to scale in the instance group based on the CloudWatch yarn memory available percentage metric. Correct answer is D, as instance group configurations for core and task nodes can be used to scale as per the yarn memory available percentage metric. Question 39. A media company has been performing analytics on log data generated by its applications. There has been a recent increase in the number of concurrent analytics jobs running, and the overall performance of existing jobs is decreasing as the number of new jobs is increasing. The partition data is stored in Amazon S3 one zone in frequent access, and the analytic processing is performed on Amazon EMR clusters using the EMR file system with consistent view enabled. A data analyst has determined that it is taking longer for the EMR task nodes to list objects in Amazon S3. Which action would most likely increase the performance of accessing log data in Amazon S3? The correct option is C. Increase the read capacity units for the shared Amazon DynamoDB table. Correct answer is C, as the current setup use EMR and EMRFS with consistent view enabled, which is supported by DynamoDB for metadata. Increasing the DynamoDB RCUs should help increase performance. EMRFS consistent view tracks consistency using a DynamoDB table to track objects in Amazon S3 that have been synced with or created by EMRFS. The metadata is used to track all operations and no actual content is stored in it. This metadata is useful to validate whether the objects or metadata received from Amazon S3 matches what is expected. This confirmation gives EMRFS the ability to check list consistency and read after write consistency for new objects EMRFS writes to Amazon S3 or objects synced with EMRFS. Multiple clusters can share the same metadata. Question 40. A company has developed several AWS Glue jobs to validate and transform its data from Amazon S3 and load it into Amazon RDS for MySQL in batches once every day. The ATL jobs read the S3 data using a dynamic frame. Currently, the ATL developers are experiencing challenges in processing only the incremental data on every run, as the AWS Glue job processes all the S3 input data on each run. Which approach would allow the developers to solve the issue with minimal coding effort? The correct option is B. Enable job bookmarks on the AWS Glue jobs. The correct approach to solve this issue with minimal coding effort would be to enable job bookmarks on the AWS Glue jobs. Enabling job bookmarks on the AWS Glue jobs would allow the ETL job to keep track of the last processed record in the data source. This way, on the next run, the job will only process the new or updated data that was added to the source since the last successful run, thus processing only the incremental data. Using data frame instead of dynamic frame or custom logic to track processed S3 objects could require significant coding effort and may not be the most efficient approach. Deleting processed objects or data from Amazon S3 after each run may not be ideal, since it may result in loss of valuable historical data. Therefore, enabling job bookmarks is the most appropriate approach to solve the issue with minimal coding effort.